Frederick Douglass once said, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress." And this week, I felt that one pretty deep. It's week 4 of my weight loss journey, and this week I came in with a 5.4 pound weight loss, but it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. I had some real mental struggles, mental battles this week. There were times where I had to choose discipline over comfort, but there was also some times that I had to actually rest and recover for my body's sake. I'm also going to share my meals that have been my go-to this last week. I'm going to share my on-the-road eating plan that I've come up with and what my goals are for next week, which are all about steps, water, and sleep. So let's dive in. Before we do that, make sure you grab yourself a drink. Just a little seltzer water. This one's Blackberry Citrus from Smith's or Kroger. It's just a store brand seltzer water. Oh yeah. This one's good. Blackberry Citrus seltzer water, because we're no soda around here, so we got to do something. This is actually really freaking good. All right, so first let's talk about the weigh-in. I was super nervous going into this weigh-in, and I didn't know if I was going to actually lose weight or if it was going to be one of those things where I'm like either down a pound or maybe I gained a little bit or I stayed the same, because I dropped 5 pounds the week before, and thinking about potentially losing another 5 pounds this week, I was totally off the table. I don't feel like I did very well. When it came to my exercise, I was really stressing about it, and I think that really caused some mental anguish for myself this weekend. But the fact that it came in and I was down almost 5.5 pounds this last week, I'll tell you what, I was excited. I was zooming. I also know that weight loss isn't all about the scale, even though that's the number we tend to focus on. But there were some non-scale victories that are just as important. My goal is to lose, at this point, over 300 pounds, and it's going to be a journey. This is not a instant fix type of program. If you're here looking for some advice to lose 10 pounds quick, I did, but it's only a drop in the bucket for me. And so this number moves me forward towards my goal. But I'll tell you what, the mental wins were just as sweet this week as the physical ones. Because it's one thing to lose weight while you're motivated. It is another thing completely to lose weight when that motivation has long faded and you are tired, you're exhausted, you're hurting, you're going through all those mental demons telling you, hey, chirping, hey, you don't need to go to the gym right now. You don't need to do this. You can just sit back. You could take a break. You've earned it, right? It's harder on those days. And my buddy texted me when I went to the gym one day, and I had absolutely zero desire to be there. And, I sent my accountability picture to my friend group, and they were like, how you feeling? You're a beast, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, guys, I have negative desire to be here. Absolutely do not want to be here. And they're like, those are the days that matter the most. So this was actually Thursday, just a few days ago. And we had driven down late Wednesday night down to Phoenix. We had a really early Thursday morning appointment with Elise's primary oncologist, and we woke up at like 6 o'clock after having gone to bed at like 1:32 because I had to drive down there. And then we got there, and when I woke up, we had to get going, and I was tired. My feet were killing me. My back was tight because I didn't sleep great. So we went to the doctor, and then there's all that stress behind, are her treatments working? Are we gonna have to change? What's happening? There's lots of uncertainty when it comes to all of that. And so it was one of those things where I didn't know what was gonna happen. And when we got back to the hotel after a full day of appointments, I was just exhausted. I was super tired. Lots of stress. Like I said, my feet were killing me. And all I wanted to do was just crawl into bed and be like, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to have to deal with working out. I just didn't. It's not like it was some crazy workout plan either, because I was just gonna go to the gym at the hotel. So there's literally a treadmill, a bike, and like the baby dumbbells, like the colorful dumbbells. And then weirdly enough, they have some like weighted balls that you can use, but the room's about as big as this office. It's not very big. It's not a very big gym, but deep down I knew that if I went, I would feel better, even though I didn't want to. I knew that I would not regret going. I've never regretted going to the gym, even if I didn't want to, even if I didn't do the workout that I thought I was going to do. I've never regretted going to the gym. But I was struggling mentally. I was high anxiety, didn't want to go, and it was tough. But I also knew that letting those voices win, the little ones that I was, you deserve a night off. You deserve to take a break. You can keep resting. Those voices led me down a slippery slope before. It's why I'm here where I'm at now. I've given myself every excuse in the book to let myself get to over 550 pounds. Like it's crazy to me that I even think about listening to those voices in my head. My therapist taught me this trick Wednesday about how to like kind of self-hypnotize myself a little bit, get myself, especially when I'm in a high anxiety state. It's a practice that I can do to calm my nervous system. And I did that in the hotel room. I laid down on the bed and I followed through with the little script that she gave me. And then with that, I realized that some of my pain really wasn't there. And with the help of the motivation, with the help of my wife, Elise, she's like, you're not gonna cop out. You're gonna go do this. You're not gonna regret going to the gym. And she's just like, just go and do like 30 minutes. You don't even have to do a full workout. You don't even have to go and do one that takes you an hour and a half. Just do 30 minutes. Just do a little bit of something. Just move. And I couldn't tell you how helpful it is for that. And so when I got to the gym, and like I said, I was just in this little room with a cardio bike and the treadmill, and I snapped my accountability picture. I'm like, look, I'm here. And my buddies were like, yeah, those are the days that matter. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to. I got on the bike and I kind of warmed up my body. I was just planning on going on the bike for 30 minutes, but about 15 minutes in, my hip was kind of locking up, and I'm like, I haven't been doing good on my stretching. So I got off the bike and I stretched out a little bit. My body was moving a little. I'm definitely showing my 35 years. 35 years old with a body of the joints of a 90-year-old. So I stretched out a little bit, and I used the weights that they had with a ton of reps, get a good burn in my biceps. I did some tricep work. I did some shoulder work just because my shoulders are a little weak. So with the light weights, I can definitely kind of rehab my shoulders a little bit, get those up there. And I'll tell you what, after the 30 minutes, I even walked around the hotel for a little bit. I kind of paced up and back the hotel floor just to get my steps in a little bit, and I felt better after the 30 minutes. Yeah, I was kind of hurting, but it wasn't bad. I felt good for having done it. And that's the thing about discipline. Motivation fades, but from my experience, motivation shows up after discipline. Once you're disciplined and you go to the gym, once you start moving and start doing your work, that's when the motivation shows up. And it doesn't always show up. Sometimes it's a grindy kind of workout. And I learned that struggle is part of progress. You have to choose your hard. Now, on the flip side of that, you have to also know when you just have excuses and when you genuinely need rest, right? So Wednesday, I had my weigh-in, and mentally, I was feeling great. Physically, I was in a rough place. It was completely different. So I did the mental check-in, right? I rested, I laid down, I did my meditation, and even after calming myself down, I still hurt real bad. My feet and legs were real sore, and it wasn't like I worked out kind of sore. It was a something's wrong kind of sore. It was just like, I need the rest. This wasn't a normal pain. This wasn't a pain of I'm making this up so that I don't have to go to the gym. This was a something's hurting kind of pain. So that day I actually took a break. I didn't go to the gym and do my cardio like I would normally have wanted to. And that was the thing, is I kind of wanted to go to the gym. I just hurt really bad. And so I did a self-care night. I soaked my feet and legs in an Epsom salt bath, which if you've never tried that, those Epsom salts, I don't know what the science is behind it, but I feel like they work, and it helped. It helped a lot. So took a bath with the Epsom salts. I focused on hydration. I made sure that I got my water up, made sure I wasn't slacking on hydration, making sure that these, like the cramping, could calm down, got some electrolytes in my body, and I gave myself permission to recover, which is not easy for someone like myself. It's hard to give myself permission to recover because I feel like I'm failing if I don't. I'm very much an all or nothing kind of person, and for the most part that's worked out for me, but there's times where like this, I want it all right now, this second. So it's very tough to reconcile that sometimes in my brain. And you know, there's a huge difference between not wanting to go to the gym and truly needing rest. And I think a little bit of my progress in this last month has been that I genuinely recognized it this go around. I was able to recognize that, hey, this isn't normal, right? This isn't your, I'm just whining to get out of this pain. This is actual pain. And so that's a W for me. That's a mental win. Recognizing that I needed to take a break, that I needed to rest up and use that day to recover. And it wasn't one where I didn't blow any of my calories. I didn't use it as a cheat day. I genuinely stuck to my program. I just didn't go to the gym, and I used it as a self-care. I massage gun, all of it. That's a win. That's a W. All right, so let's talk about food, because it's probably one of my favorite topics to talk about. I love food. Okay, so my current fixation meal is a pound of ground turkey that I brown up in a wok at my house. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and I'll either throw in like a taco seasoning packet, not even the full seasoning packet. I'll measure it out, which is mind-boggling, right? Because you would think that seasonings don't really have a whole lot of calories, but you got to be careful. Some of those sauce packets, some of those seasoning packets, they're like 15 to 20 calories, and they're not even for that. That's not even for the whole packet. They can get you. You could end up adding 80 to 100 calories without even knowing, in just the seasoning packet. So that's something to keep your eye on. But yeah, I would mix that in there, and then I would pick up a pack of vegetables. Right now it's been a lot of broccoli. I've gotten some of those chow mein vegetable packets, and those have been a nice variety. And I'll mix them in. Once the turkey's completely browned up, I'll mix the vegetables in, I'll steam those up, and those have been an incredible lunch for me. Okay, I'm eating them for lunch and for dinner. Yeah, like I said, it's been my hyperfixation. This week it was turkey, last week it was chicken. I do prefer the chicken, but this week the turkey was on sale. So I grabbed 7 pounds of turkey, and I was almost a pound for lunch and a pound for dinner. And I'll tell you what, I have been full this last week. I'll tell you what, it's high protein. It fills me up. I'm getting good fiber, and it tastes amazing. And it's quick. It doesn't take a long time for me to put this all together. Now on travel days, this is where things get a little harder, right? A little sketchy. But I've been working with my therapist on what we have developed a term. It's my emergency menu, right? So when she brought this up to me, when we created this emergency menu, it was originally for when I was in town and I felt overwhelmed by the pull for emotional eating, and I really wanted something, or like maybe I didn't prep my lunch like I needed to, and I was just... So this menu is basically a list of go-to restaurants that I can choose from, fast food or whatever, that I know exactly what I can order, how many calories it's gonna be, and know that I'm not gonna be blowing my calorie deficit by choosing one of these. One of them is the chicken from Chick-fil-A, non-breaded, just the naked chicken nuggets with a small mac and cheese. I know that fits in my calories, and it gives me good protein. So this emergency menu is one that I know I can rely on when eating out, and I have to, adjust my plans. And having a plan for places that I can go and know that I can fit, there's got to be something there that I can eat that isn't gonna blow my calorie deficit and it's gonna fill me up, is just huge. And I'll tell you what, I had to dip into this weekend. Having that emergency plan was very, very helpful, and knowing that I go down there weekly for her treatments it's very helpful, because I never know how long her appointments are going to be. Some days it's an all-day thing where we're running from doctor to doctor. Some days it's just a 4-hour chemo infusion and we're done. And so having to plan around that, and also planning around her desire to eat and her ability to be around food, because sometimes it can make her nauseous. It's important to be flexible with that food. So having that emergency plan has made eating on the road so much less stressful. So let's talk about the goals for this week. I have been severely lacking on my step count. Okay. Some days I'm definitely hitting it. Some days I'm not. And more often than not, it's the not. Okay. And my goals right now, it's only 7,000 steps. So I should definitely be able to be hitting these. The problem is my job is very much a desk job. It's very sedentary. I am looking into getting a sit-stand desk for my office, even maybe one of those Very desks that I can just put on top of my desk. Second thing is my water intake. Now that I've kind of cut out soda and I've replaced it with sparkling water, I'm definitely upping my water intake, but it's not where I need it to be, especially in Arizona. It is hot all the time right now. And so I just need to get my water up. The third thing I'm going to focus on this week is sleep. I need to prioritize getting to bed at the right time. I need to be able to go to bed when I say I'm going to go to bed, and make it so that my wind down routine is set in stone. I just need to be better about it. So this week reminded me that progress isn't just about crushing workouts. It's about showing up on the hard days and also having the wisdom to rest when you need it. Frederick Douglass said, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress." And I think that's true in weight loss, health, and in life. So what's your biggest struggle win this week? Drop it in the comments and let's celebrate together. Thanks for following along. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing weekly videos that I check in with you guys. Let's do this together on purpose, with purpose. And I think I'm going to start doing, depending on the size, it's going to have to adjust because it can get a little out of hand. But as of filming this video, I have 31 subscribers. And for every new subscriber I get in this next week, I will add that to my minutes of cardio that day or that week. So as of filming this video, I have 31 subscribers. So next Wednesday on cardio day, I'll be doing 31 minutes of cardio. So if you want to help me up those numbers or my steps, granted, now this, like, if this blows up, right? I don't think it will, but if it does, we'll have to adjust that to maybe steps, or we'll figure that part out. But right now, every subscriber is going to add a minute, and I will see you guys next week for the check-in. Also, Wednesday, if you missed last Wednesday, it's right here. Go check it out. It's my weigh-in Wednesday short. I'll post a video on Wednesday for my weigh-in. So I look forward to seeing you guys there, and I love you. Thank you for being there for me, and we can do this. You can do this. Okay, bye.